What is going on, All Terrain Nation? This is your buddy Dave and Danny of the All Terrain Nation, and welcome everybody. If this is your first time and you haven't messed with us just yet, welcome aboard. We're still a new channel, but we're finding our way here. We fans of Nissan, whatever you basically, if you've got four wheels, we're big into Nissans, but whatever's got four wheels, we love it. I'm purchasing a new Bronco. It's well documented. Danny is a racer out there, so there you go. That's that's the short, simple, and sweet to it. But young Daniel, what is going on, buddy?
What's up, Dave?
Dude, I don't know it, man.
Let's talk about some cool truck stuff tonight, man. There's some fun stuff getting pushed out the news and stuff happening. So we got some things to talk about tonight.
We do have some things, but first off, Danny, I heard you're doing some race things.
A little bit of race things. I'm trying to do race things. I'm trying to race by next year. So the race truck is definitely be getting some love this week. Lots of parts starting to show up.
Nice.
So hopefully by next week I'll be able to get a couple videos out on the race truck build. Just some windows and battery stuff. Hopefully the battery stuff comes in. Shout out to Ricky Bobby Fast for hooking me up with a bunch of battery cable, and yeah. So hopefully I'll get some batteries wired up in this thing. Got a new tack I got to put into it. So it's coming along.
Nice, man. Well, I know you kind of had a pause on everything. You were, and it's good to see that there's kind of some progress being made on that thing again, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super motivated right now. I had some training. I was going to be gone for like 3 weeks in December for some training, but that fell through. So I'm going to be home, which means I'm going to have a couple long weekends. Besides the holidays, there's definitely some time for me to be out in the garage doing what I do.
Right.
So I'm excited about that.
Well, and once again, thank you to Ricky Bobby for his support of you, Daniel. And I love how we both wore yellow T-shirts tonight, or I'm in a hoodie and you're in a shirt, and it was totally by accident. I feel like we got our black mics, we got our black hats on, and
you're wearing a black hat too.
Yeah, it's like, geez, could we color coordinate any better? Well, Daniel, anything else going up in your world at the moment?
There's a possible trip planned down south in a couple of weeks. I might be going to do a little off-roading,
Nice.
maybe camping overnight. We'll
Nice.
see what the temps are and the wife are say. What else? Not much. Just prepping for holidays now. Like I said, the 3 weeks is kind of opened up. I was planning on being totally gone for 3 weeks, basically doing nothing up north. So the fact that that's freed up for me has, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual for you to have like some free time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm sure I'll fill it up real quick. So.
Oh yeah, Danny does not let a free time go by without something fun happening.
You know what, Dave? The real question is, what's going on in your world? We never get to hear about your garage of stuff. You've been a little bit slow lately.
Well, my garage nothing's been going on in my garage. I'm trying to get in my garage for one thing, but no, man, all my projects at the moment are just kind of like, yeah. Even Project Juke for the other channel there, I've got some drop springs for that, but I just haven't had time to you know how you always make time. This is every guy who's ever does projects. You always have that project vehicle, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna make time. This is gonna be so fun. I'm gonna make time, and then kids, life, everything happens, and then your project sits out there, and
Oh, I know, Dave.
right. But
last 5 years.
Right. Yeah. Basically, since we started our original show, your Xterra has been a project vehicle, right?
Yeah, actually, it has. Thanks for the reminder.
Well, guys, once again, if you guys would, for one, smash the like button, that helps a ton, and share this to wherever you
Yes.
enjoy sharing social media content.
Share it to
help.
Facebook and Instagram, please. Take a screenshot, share it on Instagram. You can delete it later if you don't want it in your Instagram. But share a link to Facebook if you would on your feed, and tell your truck friends to come over and let's drink a beer together and let's chat. We want to hear what you guys have to say about some of these things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Some Jeep stuff, some Ford stuff. So
Yeah, and we do have a good one tonight. And Danny, first off though, because this channel got started somewhere in August. We're already halfway to our numbers that we need for viewership for hours. We're already halfway there. We're almost halfway there in subs. So once again, think about sharing and helping us there. But so tonight we got some good talk, Danny. We've got Jeep kind of sprung something on us. Well, they didn't really spring it on us. It's been widely known for a while that this thing was coming, but Jeep decided that the Rubicon just wasn't bad enough. Like the Rubicon needed to be made just a little bit better. And what would you do to add something to make that Jeep a little bit better, Dan?
Well, obviously the power plant would be the first thing. Well, first off, you could make it good.
You could
you could make it gooder.
gooder.
Um,
Well, okay.
But yeah, and yeah, obviously, I think the people have probably heard the rumors, but yeah, a power plant that would surpass anything in its up and coming category.
That's right. So
With
here,
obviously a 6.4 liter, 470 horsepower, 392 or a six. Yeah, we'll call it the Rubicon 392.
yep. 470 horsepower and 470 foot-pound of torque, Dan. Now torque really is king on trails. Torque is the number. Like horsepower, is cool, but it doesn't really mean anything if that truck doesn't have any low end grunt.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people get caught up in there's been a ton of people put Hellcats in these things, and you're nearly 700 horsepower in a Jeep. But
wait, how many people have put Hellcats in Jeeps?
oh, dude, there's a whole.
Is that a big thing?
Yes.
I try to stay away from Jeep.
Yes,
No,
Jeep and Hellcats go hand in hand right now.
I mean, I've seen a grip of Hemis in there, but is that the thing they're sticking Hellcats in them now?
Well, and there's
blowing the rear ends out of them.
Oh, instantly, yes. But there's also the Helephant, the 1,000 horsepower. If you could ever get your hands on one, for whatever reason, FCA is just not producing enough of those, and people are in waiting lines to put those in these things, man.
Jeez.
But so let's see, 2021 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and you guys playing at home can read right along here. 392 combines legendary 4x4 capability with 470 horsepower V8 engine for the most capable Wrangler yet. The 2021 is the most capable Wrangler. Packs a 6.4 liter V8, and that's pretty trippy. I'll say that. And I love that all these manufacturers using common things now. So when they want to drop things like this into their platforms, it's pretty easy anymore for them just to whatever motor they want to drop in these things. But the funny thing is 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, Danny. Now when I'm out on the trails and I'm like, hey, I'm going to tackle that thing up there, 0 to 60 is super important to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah. My literally the first thing I thought about is that's a whole lot of horsepower in the hands of somebody that may or may not have any off-road experience.
Which is always scary because people think Jeep, when they think Jeep, they're like, oh, it's going to do it for me. It's going to do the climbs and everything. And you see, there's always these funny rollover videos and stuff that you see from Moab and everything where these people that never used a locker before, there's a funny one where this lady takes a maroon Wrangler and she's trying to guide these people up the hill and she's spotting them completely the wrong way. And the dude engages that rear locker and that thing stands straight up and just boom, right over. And then she's like, what were you doing?
I see a lot of trail repairs happening. That's all I got to say.
But
people you start out with, let's just say there's a dude who's got a 10-year-old Rubicon. He's like, all right, they finally put the V8 in. I'm going to buy that, take it out to God Moab, and I'm going to go, or to Moab, and I'm going to go hit, some serious trails. And he gets up there and, he's going to be able to get over everything. And all of a sudden he gets into a little hard spot and he's like, I got the power, and kaboom, axles going everywhere,
Well,
or like you said, if it's got, if you got front and rear lockers, you can get yourself way beyond if you got the power and front and rear lockers, you can get yourself way beyond your skills with that much truck.
Yes, no, definitely on that, and of course everything's all. It seems like you could program the throttles in these things now to when you engage lockers that you have more pedal where less power range, but more pedal, so you can kind of learn to adjust that to a little bit. But so this thing, let's see, this marks the return of a V8 in these things in 40 years, man. They haven't since the CJs.
Yeah,
put
I
a
guess
V8.
it was CJ's early. Was a CJ5?
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm not a Jeep connoisseur, but I remember people always talking about the old CJ5s. It may have been that the CJ5s that everybody slapped a 302 in those. But yeah, I remember, friends back in high school. My dad's got a CJ5 with a 350 in it or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's sick.
It's got up to 170 horsepower, bro.
Yeah, right.
That's
It also dies if you get it over 45 degrees.
yeah. There goes the carburetor. But this thing, obviously, they did it in the Rubicon package, which makes sense. Like, it's the top package. You want that thing to be the most badass thing ever. The one thing that I'm boggled with so far is they only put 33-inch tires on this thing, which blows my mind. So, and me and Danny are going to kind of good cop, bad cop this in a minute. But 33s, I would have put 35s on that. To me, this is a. Well, I'll save that. But let's see. So it's got a tri-level hydro guide, Danny, which is a fancy way of saying I'm diverting water away from this supercharger so it doesn't suck up water, and make sure it doesn't get near the engine. Let's see. You get a competition-inspired leather-wrapped steering wheel. Mm-hmm.
Paddle shifters is standard.
Of course.
Oh.
There'll be no manual transmission here.
Hey, let me just say, paddle shifters would be sick. All right, I'm down for some paddle shifters, especially off-road. Keeping both hands on, bah, bah, bah. That would be sick. I need that in my race truck. I need that in my life.
You need some paddle. You know what? The Infinity, I think the Infinity paddle shifters would mount up to your steering column. But no, you're not using the factory wheel anymore. Never mind. Scratch that. But let's see. I mean, 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds is fun. Quarter mile at 13 seconds. Yeah, that's awesome. But when did Jeep lose its way of like, hey, we're supposed to do cool off-roady things, not 0 to 60 times. Once the Grand Cherokees, the Track Hawks, and all that stuff, they started making those nuts. It was like they've taken that about as far as you can go, and I guess it's like, well, what else do we got?
I think I don't know. I think that's like it's almost like a throwback to like the 60s. Like they had to have some kind of measurement bar to where you could wrap your head around like how fast is this thing, so they'd say, okay, this thing goes 0 to 60 in 10 seconds or whatever, and slowly but surely, Porsches and stuff, so it's like 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or whatever.
Right.
But it, like, I think that, I mean, I remember growing up reading Motor Trend magazine, and that's like I'd never experienced a fast car, and I think my brother's roommate had like a supercharged Thunderbird. Remember those Thunderbirds?
Mm-hmm.
It was like so he had a supercharged Thunderbird. I think it was like a 0 to 60 was like 6 point something seconds or whatever. But that was like one of the first cars I got in. I was like, oh, that's pretty fast,
Right.
And so then I was like, okay, this is. And then I think to myself, and I'm reading, and I go, 0 to 60 in 3.2, and I'm like, oh, that's twice as fast as the fastest thing I've been in,
Yeah.
So it definitely gives you an idea of how quick it is, how fast it is. So I think it's like you see, like it's kind of an arbitrary thing, but it gives you an idea. And it shows a quarter mile of 13. That's no slouch, dude. That's going
Right.
for a big old whatever 6,000, 5,000 pound Rubicon. That's moving. So it definitely gives you an idea of the quickness of this truck. Obviously, it's not the point of they're not trying to make this to do drag runs, But I think it's just something that we've all just become accustomed to, is knowing how quick it is in 0 to 60 in a quarter mile, just because we're dumb Americans, we go straight. But it's something to gauge,
right?
To weigh it against.
It's measuring your dick is what it is for manufacturers. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I just think that it's kind of silly. So I'm going to get into this. So I think the idea of this thing is completely stupid. I'm just gonna go out there and I'm a guy who loves horsepower. I want as much horsepower and speed as possible, but I'm gonna base it on this. This thing is gonna be a $75,000 to $80,000 Jeep at minimum. It's gonna be stupid expensive, and it's gonna be something that collectors will want to go to grab because they're gonna be like, well, we know Jeep ain't gonna make this very long, so we're gonna throw. I don't want any miles in this. Let's put it in the garage. And then you're going to get some people like you were saying earlier, Danny, who have no business. They can afford these things, but have zero idea how to off-road. They're going to go take this thing up there. They're going to see some guy in a under horsepowered old Jeep JK or something go do something, and he's giving it hell trying to get up there. And they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to give it hell and go up there." And they're going to, next thing you know, they're going from Moab to the Rubicon in 3.2 seconds because they floored it, and they just launched it into next year. I think personally, this is the answer of Jeep to Ford's stealing the thunder of Bronco. I think people have done this for a long time. Jeep's had for 10 years or more where but they've had for 10 years or more, people have been putting the Hemis in Jeeps, and Jeep has fought and fought. No, we don't need to put a V8 in this. We don't need to put a V8 in this. And then suddenly Bronco comes out and it's like, oh, damn, we better put a V8 in this thing. Because that's right now, and I said this a long time ago with Bronco, I think when Bronco debuted, it made the Jeep look old instantly. And that's a new design Jeep. The JL is, only 2 years old now. And it looks old compared to the Bronco. And Jeep purist is going to be pissed off at me about this, but go with me on this. What makes it look old is the fact that Ford has taken from the factory any model you want. You can get their Sasquatch package. You can put 35s on it. It's locked front and rear. Jeep, they do not want to do that. They want to force you to get into a Rubicon, which is $50,000 to $60,000, and the interior of the Bronco as well. Like Jeeps, I like the new design of it, the red and stuff they're putting in the Rubicons. Like the dash is kind of cool, but Bronco thought of everything. They thought of everything that Jeep should have done, like the mirrors being mounted to the hood or the under the windshield like that. Where Jeep sort of got lazy. Jeep got lazy with the doors. Ford said, hold my beer on that. This is how you do that. Oh, and guess what? You can also store them in the back of this. And I think obviously this has been planned for a long time. You don't just throw an engine like this in one of these things. But I think that Jeep's always sort of kept this in their back pocket of like, well, if somebody ever really kind of gets into what we're doing, here, bam, here we can do this. Because it was October, here's the concept. Oh, and 2 weeks ago it was like, nope, now it's a real thing.
Yeah, just enough time to throw it in there and test it. I think you hit a lot of points, Dave, on that are completely legitimate. I do think the interior's come a long way. It looks a lot better. I can't attest to whether or not the fit and finish lasts. Is it going to last? I know a lot of Jeep stuff doesn't last or doesn't wear great. A 10-year-old Jeep isn't the same as a 10-year-old Toyota, Nissan,
right,
even some Fords or whatever. And I think you're always, and I'm curious how this is going to go with the Bronco, especially with the top, with the doors in the top and that type of vehicle. They're so loud. Especially you put some big tires on it, 35s. Which almost everybody's going to do the second they get a Rubicon.
Oh God!
Yeah. If you're going to take it to the dirt, I would say.
Yeah, either you're a mall crawler,
either
mom.
you take it. Yeah, either way, you're putting 35s on it. I don't know how many. I like the second, and a few people will wait until their tires are worn out before they put 35s on it. But that's pretty much what you're going to do.
Right.
But they are so noisy, and I really hope that the Bronco isn't nearly as loud and rickety sounding. But I do think the interior of the Rubicon is much better than it used to be. They really kind of still stayed with the kind of like the flat dash mentality and stuff like that, while still bringing in some of the new tech and making it look user friendly and whatnot.
Right. No, I mean, no doubt. But Jeep has had it really good for a long time with these things. They've had no competition with this. And now I think that engine is the best bang for your buck out there. I think if you want some easy horsepower, I think FCA and them have it hands down. Like they know how to, whatever it is, like that company just knows how to just take something out of nothing, as far as like being able to go, yeah, but you don't have a cool name like a Hemi. Nobody out there, Ford's got Power Stroke, and then there's the Comet. Like Hemi is just such an iconic name for a V8 engine that.
But Dave, the most recent Hemi is fairly trash. LS has them destroyed in every possible. I mean, I know they're in a lot of Challengers, Chargers, but the real boss is the Hellcat. The Hemi's not a great motor at all.
I would disagree with that. Man.
I could there's one over at the old tire shop that I could have, and I don't want it, and it's a fully rebuilt motor, and I don't want to have anything to do with it because I've seen it blown up twice.
Right. Well, but let's not act like yes, okay, the LS is probably, yes, by far probably a better motor package, and the Coyote out there is a great motor package, but when you hear the supercharger whine of one of those things, you instantly know what that motor is. I don't know what it is about that motor, and I could play a video of this thing. You could hear that whine is, they've seemed to perfect the supercharger in these big V8s. And yes, the LS, Camaro's monkeying with this stuff, but Camaro's not selling by any means. Like Camaro's borderline being dumped again. Like they're not doing much with that car, and Mustang, they seem to want to go that EV route. Or whatever reason Ford's going that way with that car, or whatever they're going to call the Mach-E. But FCA has stuck with this motor. It's just their ace. When they want to sell a car, they just go Hellcat. Like FCA on their own knows how to name things. Hellcat is the perfect name for that package, that you want that speed package. And then they were like, you know what, Hellcat's just not cool enough. Let's go Helephant, because we need a drag strip package. And Rubicon, that name is just, of course that wasn't an FCA name, but that name is great. And then they know how to just the little details of like, oh, the tow hooks, they shouldn't be hidden. Let's make those bright red. Like whoever it is over at FCA, like they earn their money with just those small little subtle changes that make those things look badass. And then the trail rated badge, Danny, the most iconic, stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. They go, well, this one's trail rated, but it's brilliant at the same time, man. It tells every soccer mom out there, or whoever that doesn't know off-road vehicles, well, mine's got a silver badge on it that says trail rated, so it's got to be badass, right?
Yeah, and Dave, I'm not sure if you're alluding to it, but from my understanding, I don't think this is a supercharged motor. Were you implying that that's?
I think it is.
I don't think so. Naturally aspirated. That's something we got to look up, because I was almost positive that the 392. We could look that up, but yeah, trail rated. I like that little badge that they stick on everything. Like, in my opinion, trail rated is like, you could trail rate a minivan if you wanted to. It just depends on what trail you're talking about, Right? I do think that like naming like Rubicon, and Trail Hawk and stuff like that, they got good names going for them, with what they're doing, and that the styling on the hood on the Rubicon is really good. It's actually functional. So it's a really high air intake.
That's why it has that high air intake, man. It's for that supercharger.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. We're gonna have to do some Googling.
I'm looking while you're talking, because I'm
390 6.4 liter naturally aspirated Hemi. Yeah, dude, that's a. Yep. I'm pretty right.
Somebody in the comments, they'll get us in the comments on that.
Yeah, somebody look that up while we're talking so that we can actually keep talking. But if I'm right, Dave's got to drink the rest of whatever's in his cup. And while we're sitting here, no, I'm talking about like right now. While we're sitting here, what are you drinking tonight, Dave?
Dude, I'm on my Frontier whiskey, dude. I'm stuck on this right now.
All right. I got the combo pack of Firestone. I'm on a Union Jack IPA right now. I had a Propagator series a second ago.
Yeah.
So whoever can prove whether or not it was if whether or not it's supercharged, the whoever is right has to finish off their drink right now.
No, there is not a supercharger on top of this thing. Here, I'll show you. There, it shows the top.
Oh, you're showing the.
This is from Jeep's website.
You said there's not?
It doesn't know. There's no supercharger on top of this thing.
Well, Dave.
Well,
Bottoms up, bottoms up. But I mean, 470 for natural aspirate. That's great. It's great horsepower.
cheers, Danny. Now I'm out of whiskey. Thanks. No, but yeah.
It's gonna be a good show.
Whoa. Do I have to be right, John Thumbs? No, Danny got me on that one. I swear I heard in some of the video that I've watched of this thing of you hear the spooling of the supercharger.
It's probably all the bearings going out.
Oh, there's
Sorry,
tonight's clip.
I'm not a hater.
No, I do. I think.
Look, your opinions matter, Dave.
Aw. Yeah, it's the same as the Scat Pack charger. B. Warren says. I do believe I remember them talking about that. Joe Taylor says from Google there isn't a supercharger here to handle the extra horsepower. The frame rails. Joe, we don't want to know about the frame. Nobody cares about the frame. But no, thank you, moderator extraordinaire Joe. But as we kind of wind it down on that, I think it's cool. But I think it was like an easy fruit to pull from Jeep's thing of like trying to get some attention back for them. And I'll be honest, I've talked to a bunch of reporters and none of them are talking about this thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was, I mean, Bronco came out with a club, and Jeep's been, dancing around with a little knife for a while, saying we're the best.
Yeah.
And Bronco came out and clubbed them right across the room. And now they're digging through their pile of stuff, trying to figure out how they're going to get back into the fight.
Yeah,
so, I mean, this is the best way to get back in the fight immediately. They have to go back to the drawing board to at least shim up all the things that Ford basically blew them out of the water on. Ford took everything that you saw in a Jeep, and they said, how can we improve on this? How can we make things better? From what I can tell. What are the things that a Jeep is lacking? Let's make something similar to Jeep, and then let's improve upon it. That seems like the basic thing that they started with. And so Jeep is going to have to answer that. If they don't, they're going to start losing a massive amount of sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as long as the Bronco comes out and is fairly dependable. I mean, if that thing came out and it starts falling apart super quick, then they've got some problems there. And speaking of Bronco, Danny, so the other night I did a live stream of Ford Sema nights, or whatever they called it. And I wasn't expecting much of this because I've not been, other than the Ford Bronco launch, I've not seen any manufacturer do anything for these live reveals that wowed me at all. I would rather be covering the events live. I think they're caught between they don't know how to exactly handle doing it. They want this excitement for these vehicles when they talk about them, and if there's not an audience, it's kind of hard for them to gauge the excitement. And when you have like all of us reporters there at these events covering these things, you're like, okay, they feel the excitement, they kind of know how it's going to go, and now they're just releasing it to the world. And this is what we get, Dan. So like I said, I did a little bit of the stream on this thing, and I was pretty disappointed. Now, what I've got here is the Bronco, and I'm going to let it play for a minute because this is the Bronco.
Is it sport or is it the? You're
No,
talking
this
about
is
the
the fourth and final chapter in our show.
The big
And in
Bronco.
my humble opinion,
Okay.
the headline act. We stand here with the all-new 2021 Bronco.
All right, so I'm going to pause that right there, and Danny will catch up in a few seconds. This is a CGI Bronco. And first off, everything about this video is CGI. I can't believe these are real people. because as much CGI as they shoved down our throat for this thing,
That's the truth, huh?
and a couple of the people had no personalities that were on this thing, and they had to be CGI. But so we get to right here. Ford's got this 4-door Bronco in the atomic orange. It's cool.
Hey,
looking
is the
Bronco.
guy in the truck is a CGI
Oh
guy,
yeah,
right?
well it's a CGI Ford Bronco, and you look how the lady's standing. It's not, the floor doesn't look natural. It's very, for some reason I was trying to watch this and talk about it, and I kept focusing on like looking at how these people are standing, and it just was freaking me out a little bit. Just screws with your mind just a little bit. So we'll let this play
Back
just a
to
minute.
life on its
Because there
55th
are some cool
anniversary
things I wanted to
this
get
past
into
August.
about this, Dan,
To
and
get
get
the
your
lowdown on this beautiful
opinions
beast,
of.
please welcome Jeff from the Bronco team. Hi, Jeff.
I
Welcome
love
to
this.
our Sema
Oh,
show.
right here. I love the social distancing in all this video too. Like, it's a controlled environment. Why are we like standing 17 feet apart or whatever? Like, I'm sure everybody here has been tested 14 times before they even got to this point. And
Yeah.
but to look PC, we got a social distance, it was very awkward.
So special. How's it going?
It is going great, Kelly. I am really excited to be here.
He's really
So,
excited
Jeff,
to be here.
I hear you're going to tell us more about one of the things that makes Bronco so special.
Yeah,
That's right, Kelly.
on
I'm gonna
top of
talk
it-
about
on top of
something
it,
that
he-
sets this vehicle
Yeah,
apart.
anyways.
It's mind-blowing modularity.
Okay, Jeff. Why
All
don't
right, so
you
they're going
explain
to break
to our
this thing
viewers at
down
home
for.
what you mean
We're
when
going
you
to watch
say
this and
modularity?
watch them
Sure
break
thing,
this down.
Kelly. This vehicle was designed to be modular. That means that all of these parts around me can be easily removed, replaced, or swapped out. It is the ultimate invitation to the customization community, whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started.
All right, so I'm pausing it here, Dan, so you'll catch up in just a second. Obviously, the fenders, doors, roof, everything about this thing has been well. Like you were saying earlier, Dan, Ford really thought well about how can we take what the Wrangler does and improve on it. And one thing like Wrangler, the fenders and everything, they're all spot welded. They're all welded onto the tub, and Ford's like, no, we can do better than that, and they kind of get into that just a little bit here.
Let's rewind back and dig into some of the basics. Removing the doors and the
Nobody
roof.
cares about removing the
This
doors
is a
and the-
hallmark of wake up one Saturday morning and
I mean,
decide
I
you
do
want to
get
give
the
your
aluminum
Bronco
door
a new
thing. I
face.
think that's cool.
And you can change it from
I love how they start talking here. Oh, you can change your grill out anytime you want. Like if you're tired of that grill, here go to Ford Performance and buy another
one design to the next by yourself with hand tools. You also have total control of your experience.
Oh, here this
The removable
this
fender
goofiness
flare
showing the thing
kit gives you
driving
more options to
with
suit
the
your
CGI
needs.
guy driving it.
Fender
It's
flares are
so
available in
horrible.
3 styles. Havoc with the more aggressive styling, as well as Extend a Fender and a pocket style. The fender flares are removable, and it isn't just for style. You can pop them off on the fly so you can navigate tighter trails.
All right, so
Folks,
let's
it's
get to
time
their
for the
little
final
SEMA build
project build of the
because
night.
there's actually
Let's take a look.
some good gold here.
I just got to the part of it driving.
Yeah, isn't that
on
horrible?
the big road.
I like they're tearing this thing apart, how easy it is, basically. Very smart, the marketing of how they do this. Pulling the fenders off right there. So let me pause that. I'll let Danny catch up to that. So Danny, all the fenders are bolt-on, and they're made to easily be removed very quickly. Even the rear fenders above the tires are made to be removed. So
That's pretty cool.
that's very
Yeah.
cool, man. And I like
Yeah,
that.
especially when cleaning the shell looks like it comes off pretty easily. Holy cow! It'd be nice to wash. It'd be nice to wash.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and think about salt and stuff. If you were playing beach or whatever, you could take all
in
these
the
off.
sand. Oh, sand gets everywhere. I wish I could do that with my truck. It gets so disgusting, and it's like you literally have to put it on a shelf and like paint the entire power wash and then repaint it.
Yeah. No. So it shows them putting these fenders on, Dan, which I think these. I love the half door. I love the half door that they did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The wider fenders I like, and that they're kind of square because that was the one thing of the Bronco that I will be honest kind of turned me off of Bronco was the round opening of the wheel well. that because they made those plastic skirts on the side of them to come off when you're off-roading, and it just, I don't know, just the round looks weird, and I love the way they've done the fenders on this one here.
Yeah, for sure. The bigger fender looks so much better.
All right, so I'm going to pause it there, and you'll catch up in just a minute, Dan. I will say this, though. I like this Bronco a lot, but this is not a Sema build Bronco. This is
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you there. I will say that I'm super hesitant on those aluminum lower control arms. I would replace those.
well, they're going to bend, yeah.
Well, no, they'll crack. That's the problem. I'd rather have something bend than crack.
Yeah. Well, this is all come from the Raptor program, all this stuff. So, I mean, it's tested.
Yeah.
They've taken these through the Rubicon and everything, and I'm sure they've not ever gonna go, hey, we broke this and that from doing it. But
B Warren says OJ can do a body swap and escape more easily. That's a comment of the night.
Oh
B.
no,
Warren.
man!
Oh, that's classic, man. Dude. I love it.
That is great. But overall, I think it's a cool little build. I don't dig the goofy sound bar.
The front bumper is kind of whack, if you ask me.
Oh, dude, that's horrible. I took so much shit on the video I did of that bumper, all the little bolts and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That bumper's jabroni bumper.
That bumper is for people who just want to bolt on easy stuff. They want, which Ford wants. They want you to go Ford Performance and buy all this stuff. But guys who really off-road are going to ditch that thing in a heartbeat. They're going to have somebody like Hefty or somebody design and build a solid front bumper.
The aftermarket's going to be exploding for these things as soon as it comes out.
Oh God, yes. But let's get into their reveal.
About just the history of how Bronco came to be here in 2021.
This is horrible. Watch, they talk about being in the desert.
Here we are, gang, out in the desert in California.
Oh, they're in California now, not Detroit.
Our Bronco project build. Please welcome a special guest from Ford Design, Ryan Olson. Ryan, how's it going, man?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, man. I'm really excited. I have a deposit down on a Bronco, 4-door, not 2-door. Talk about just the history of how Bronco came to be here in 2021.
Since the 60s, kind of, the original Broncos, the whole story has been about modularity.
I like the front handles on the front of the hood in case you need to pick up the entire truck.
Well, they talk about those were 3D printed in titanium. Those, and they're a little bit bigger than the ones that come from the factory. And this video here talks about it a little bit.
Too, as you can see your wheels when you're actually in an off-road situation, right? Yeah, much easier to get out and look.
I actually kind of like it.
About to not hit, right? So you also see these enlarged trail sights, right? These are 3D printed titanium.
Right. Wow.
So incredibly light and incredibly strong. We've done the same thing with the interior grab handles, as you can see on this side.
Is there a big thing for trail sights? Because I've never needed anything on my hood
That's 3D printed
to tell me
included in there.
anything about my hood there.
Really cleverly hidden tools.
Trail sights?
That's what they call those notches
so
by the hood.
Is in the vehicle for you. And then, like you said, come Sunday night, you can set it back to your showroom vehicle.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This thing looks epic.
I like how the soft top on this thing, how you can convert it into be kind of a half top and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Very versatile.
Yeah, overall, I just thought that Ford kind of they let marketing have too much say in the direction of this video. Obviously, PR and marketing should have say in this, but I just feel like I don't know. They just jumped the shark, and they had too many people. Like we were talking before the show, they had too many people of credibility in this video to have such an uncredible video.
Well, I think that's what got it to be credible. I mean, it's a credible video, but it's a very it has super infomercial vibes, and
Yes.
I think it's mostly from the presenters and the cheesy CGI.
Yes, I totally agree. And
Like if they were actually out in the desert and they had clips, just take some clips in the desert, and drive around in the desert a little bit and get some rad shots in the desert,
right.
You don't need to have this cheesy, like we're standing in a sound studio I don't know, like maybe there's too much COVID scare or something, but you don't know, like I think it would be more dangerous in a sound studio than it would be in the desert shooting some stuff.
Right. Oh, and so I also did a little bit of Bronco sport here, so we'll get into Bronco
That was
sport.
earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
Rebel Rally stuff. Yeah,
And
I watched all this. So
they show them building the Bronco Sport. And it's a good looking. Don't get me wrong. The Bronco Sport, for what it is a pretty good looking thing. But that is not off road worthy by any means. Like
it's dirt trail worthy.
yeah, I think the Rebel Rally was probably the most extreme thing
You
that
could-
thing needs to be on.
You could be on some gentle overlanding on that.
So no worries.
But they're like, we had 3 days to build this or whatever, and you're like, what?
Get out of here.
Or
Yeah,
no,
what did
3
you
weeks.
do? I mean, if they actually designed an aftermarket suspension, I could get it, and maybe like, yeah, what is he grinding on? I am very kind of curious about like what did they do other than
They put it.
It was probably 3 weeks of waiting for parts and about 1 day of putting them on.
Well, they said they partnered with 4-Wheel Parts to for the 2-inch lift that they put on this thing, and which
So
once
it's some
again,
hockey pucks in there.
yeah, but which is cool that they've already talked to 4-Wheel Parts about getting stuff for these because they know people are going to want to modify these.
Yeah.
And they're not all. Everybody's not going to want to go through Ford Performance to modify these things. But I love they never show it really pulling the trailer that you see here, ever.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Because I really think that would be a little too much for that thing to pull because that trailer is a good.
Well, the tow rating on all the trucks is like, I think maybe the max is like 3,000 pounds, and it's probably even less for that thing.
Well, so the regular Broncos is 3,500. So there they show it.
Mhm.
You'll see it come up in a second, but they show it with this overland style trailer, which is probably I don't know what those things go for.
It's probably like a 1,500 pound trailer,
You don't think it's a little more than that?
maybe 2,000, 15 to 2,000 is my guess.
It's definitely.
I mean, it like it's probably 1,500, and then you put everything in, it's probably 2,200, 2,400 pounds.
Right, but it's definitely probably at the limit of that vehicle's capabilities.
It's not a very big one. It's almost smaller than a teardrop, but yeah, it's not gonna. I mean, it'll tow it. It's well within its towing rate. I'm sure.
Right, but they don't want to show this thing squatting with this thing on it either.
In the off-road environment.
Yeah, but I do like that Ford's come out with this kind of stuff.
Let me say, Dave, and I have differing opinions on overland trailers. This vehicle is perfect for towing an overland trailer. I say that because this
What are you most
vehicle,
proud of, and what
wherever
was
you're going with this vehicle, that trailer can go with you. If you go anywhere where this vehicle shouldn't be going, that trailer also shouldn't be going with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely a good point to that, man.
Because I've been on trails with people with overland trailers, and it's painful. It's painful to watch them just dragging it up. And some people can get their overland trailers through some crazy stuff. I'm not knocking overland trailers, but
Yeah.
you better have a very capable truck, and you better be able to know how to get your overland trailer there.
Oh, remember the lady that we on the one adventure the Rogue Adventures that FJ she towed that thing right down Black Bear.
Black Bear Pass. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's you got to be aware and prep to flip it back over. I've welded an entire front tongue back onto the trailer in the middle of Death Valley. I've helped strap a broken axle off of a off-road trailer. So I have a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth for overland trailers just because of some of the experiences I have. I'm kind of biased about it.
So what you're saying is they're more what was the word I was looking for? They're too much liability with those.
They're good for certain overland scenarios, but you have to know the limits of them, and or you just have to know what you're doing.
Right.
Don't stop a trip of 5-6 guys because you're taking an overland trailer somewhere where it's going to get beat up and fall apart.
No, yeah, definitely. And one more little thing to this thing we were me and you were talking earlier. And I'm trying to pardon me. I'm trying to scan to find this thing actually running.
B. Warren kind of mentioned is it any better than a Cherokee? That is the main competition. I think yeah. I bet you it's very similar to what that Cherokee was. You know, the little trail rated Cherokee that we saw. Very very similar, if you ask me. And I almost wonder if they didn't borrow a large bit of body size and to compete. It's almost like they just put the sights on Jeep and said we're gonna smash their Cherokee, we're gonna smash their their Jeep, and we're gonna all the lines of the Jeep.
Right.
And they already have their trucks, so that the Jeeps in their sights, and maybe that's they're trying to take that market share.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're probably right on that. And last up, they did an F-150 kind of overland style F-150. Now these are stupid easy to do anymore. You put bigger tires on it, a small lift, put a cage on the bed, and then all of a sudden you've got an overland rig. But our buddies over at BDS Suspension did this, and our buddy Derek, who over there, you'll see him in the video
Yeah.
a little bit, was really cool. Like they've partnered with Ford on a lot of cool builds, and just those guys in Michigan know what they're doing. And the video will pop up here in just a second. There's
Dave.
BDS.
Dave, can I get a shout out to the company that calls their awning the Slim Shady awning? I saw when he said that I was like, what? It was like the record scratch.
Right,
What
right.
did he just say that they put a Slim Shady awning on?
Yeah, it's funny to see Derek in a mask. By the way, there he is.
Oh yeah.
And company mask, by the way. That's kind of funny. But BDS always they're in bed with Ford. They do a lot with Ford. I mean, they'll do with any manufacturer, but they seem to be Ford seems to be their kind of go-to when they want
Bread and
aftermarket.
butter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do at Bronco, by the way, because those guys like they would have had a Bronco at SEMA this year. I guarantee you that. And I think a lot of these companies would have had Broncos, and we probably would have really been sick of seeing Broncos by the time SEMA was done. So maybe COVID's been a blessing for some of that. But once again, they put the rack on it. What's the bed tray that everybody's using right now?
Leitner Designs, the Leitner rack.
No,
the active cargo system.
No, the slide out tray.
Oh, the bed.
Anyways, they showed
Bed
it
rack,
in there.
no.
It's like
Yeah.
everybody does it now. When you want to do what you call an overland truck.
I'm surprised they didn't put a Leitner rack in there, because in the last couple of SEMAs, Leitner has been in almost every overland truck. And if you look, the Yakima has a similar crossbar. They've kind of started doing a little bit of marketing into that. And obviously, if they're working with Ford and stuff to do these, they're trying to jump into that market a little bit more. So
Yeah. But overall, like the vehicles, it wasn't even the vehicles that I had a problem with of this thing with the Ford SEMA thing. It was just the presentation and how kind of cheesy it was. Now our buddy Jeremy over at who does Jeremy work with? Icon.
Wheel Pros.
He loved
no,
this.
he's with Wheel Pros now.
Oh, I'm sorry, but he loved this thing, and me and him kind of debated on social media a little bit about it. He's like, Ford killed it with that, and I was like, I guess because I'm not the target audience for this, he's probably right. Like, I'm 10 levels above what this thing was aimed at, and Danny, you're 20 levels above what these were aimed at people that don't know off-roading, maybe to kind of build some excitement and go, oh look, it's kind of, it's like the SpongeBob SquarePants version of showing people off-roading.
I would say that this is targeted at people that, well, the guys that want to get their truck and throw a little lift on it. They're looking at buying a new truck or car or a Bronco or whatever, or they also touched in the Mach-E and whatnot. But we'll talk about the truck stuff. I think it's the guy that says, okay, what's available for the new F-150? If I want to get it and do a little lift on it and stuff like that, it highlights it. What is it going to look like if I do a little overland build or a little off-road build? The Bronco, obviously, they're really pushing like a little bit more of the extreme off-road versions.
Right.
But the F-150 is a perfect example. They put kind of all the general stuff that you can grab and throw in a truck for a very, in my opinion, very basic build. And for BDS, it's not basic because they probably developed a whole suspension system for it. But once they get it all developed, it's going to be a coilover and upper control arm. It might be a drop bracket. I doubt it. But they have their full suspension, so it gives the viewer, the potential customer, or the potential shop, which is Sema. Sema's all about aftermarket. So BDS is saying, hey, if you're a shop, we sell this lift. You should buy these lifts from us and sell them to your customers.
Right.
That's kind of what Sema is all about. It's not for actual consumers. It's technically for the people. It's a wholesale
Yeah.
aftermarket thing. So I think them showing it on YouTube is similar in the fact that everybody that's going to be selling stuff is we went with BDS because BDS has a lift. Now everybody knows BDS has a lift, whereas everybody else that may be trying to develop something or not, that they didn't get that out there. So I think the consumer gets a look at what these things could be looking like, the excitement of a highly modified vehicle is exciting no matter what. So that's what SEMA is about for dealers, and then the people that they work with, like BDS or the myriad of other companies, Yakima, Bedrock, whatever. Those other companies, they get their shout out, and people go, okay, I saw that at SEMA, that was really cool. I want to buy that. So when they go to their Joe Blow aftermarket, lift company locally, whether it's a 4-wheel parts or whether it's a Tire Pros or whatever, they say, hey, I want to put a 4-inch lift in my truck. And they say, oh, let's put that BDS lift on. I saw it at SEMA, and they can buy the lift and put it on and get it all taken care of. So,
right. Or if they want to,
that's kind of what you're.
So what you're saying is they could go to Simi Valley Tire Pros, right?
Yeah, it's a good place to go.
Well, I think we've sort of beat this dead horse to an end, Danny. I hope we don't see any more of that. I hope that we get a little bit of normalcy back for next spring when some of these car shows and everything start ramping back up, that they're able to present this safely somehow. And we just kind of get back to business as usual. Unfortunately, I think part of the pandemic has killed a lot of car shows. I don't know that many. Chicago would be up in the air right now. Detroit would be up in the air right now. There's no way in hell I'm going to New York City right now. I don't know which ones that I would actually attend. So things where a lot of this, like the Bronco or the Jeep that we talked about tonight, would normally be presented at, are like maybe I don't know. And as far as like SEMA, that sucks at SEMA. I know a lot of guys behind the scenes that I've talked to, like, we're building things for SEMA this year.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's livelihoods at stake for these things as well, because
there's big money. There's big money that goes into SEMA builds and all the things that are SEMA. And you get massive amount of potential customers or new accounts, and I mean there's so much that happens at SEMA that could propel you down the road. They give awards away for new products. That's where you debut new products. And if you're getting something ready and you're like, I'm going to debut this at SEMA, now you're like, how am I going to debut this? How am I going to get enough eyes on this? SEMA will put new stuff out there and send a lot of marketing towards something that's really cool, that's new in the market. And if you don't get that, you may not be that new up and coming company.
Right. And always out of fires. There's always like something new blooms out of, forest fires. So, unfortunately some things die that maybe weren't ready to die, and some things new come out of that. So maybe through all this we'll actually get something really cool, and hopefully it's not electric. That's all I care about. I'm so tired of electric vehicles already. So Dan, any final words from you? Anything you got coming up that obviously you weren't scheduled to be in town for the next few weeks, but you are in town?
I'm making massive race truck pushes.
Good.
So if you don't follow at DeGrootX on Instagram, you're gonna be missing out. Follow me, and at DeGrootX on YouTube. I hopefully will get some videos out here pretty soon once I get some mod stuff going. Right now it's been pretty slow as far as doing any real work on the truck other than little odds and ends, grinding some stuff or cleaning some stuff up in preparation for doing some big jobs. I don't want to show a video of me just grinding on something for 20 minutes or sanding something for 20 minutes. I haven't done any full length jobs yet. So once I get some good actual jobs start to finish, I'll post some stuff up. So
well, and maybe you'll actually make your debut, your video debut here one of these days on the channel, Danny. We haven't got a DeGrootX style video on here just yet.
Maybe I'll have to do that.
Man.
We'll see what I can get done in the next couple weeks.
Well, Well, guys, so we appreciate everybody being on here tonight, and it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Everything's about to slow down with Christmas, so don't expect too many big things. Nissan's got the Armada that's about to debut. I'll be covering that on the Nissan Nation production side. Other than that, once December hits, everything slows down. I will have also some videos on Bronco coming up because I'm about to order my Bronco December 7th or 8th. I forget which one it is. I can actually order the thing. And I've promised everybody we'll do a video on that. Plus, I've got to give you all the final version of the truck. So that'll happen in the next week or two. So from all things four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, it doesn't matter what you drive, Danny. This is your All-Terrain Nation. And I'm your host, David Boyd. And what are we?
Oh!
Peace, everybody. See y'all.
See ya, boys.
See y'all in a couple weeks. We're going to take a break on this one for